Welcome to the Library Learning Circle at the McGovern Library. This is the Information Literacy Series. Today, we're going to be talking about relevant and reliable sources. With the amount of information that is readily available today, it is important that we look for relevant and reliable sources when doing research. Today, we're going to be using a reliability rating. This scale provides a general assessment on the reliability of a source type. Read, be wary of these sources. They run the gamut from news-sponsored material to complete fabrications. Use one of the evaluation tools to check the credibility of the source. Yellow, these sources you need to be critical of. These sources generally follow professional ethical standards, but will vary on the partisan continuum. Green, these sources are generally considered to be thoughtful. They undergo a fairly stringent editorial and peer review process, but quality can vary from one source to another. The first source we're going to look at is scholarly articles. They are written for every subject area or academic discipline. They are written by professors, researchers, and other scholars. They disseminate research and scholarly discussions among scholars, like faculty, researchers, students, in a specific discipline. They are published by professional associations, university publishers, or other academic publishers. They are highly specialized and may use technical language. They may include graphs and tables, and they will cite their sources and include footnotes or endnotes and/or bibliography reference lists. But most importantly, they are peer-reviewed or refereed before publication. When you're looking at sources, you often see three types of sources: scholarly, trade, and popular sources. Scholarly sources are books and journals. They look at disseminating research and scholarly discussions among scholars in a discipline. Popular sources are generally for the general public. They include magazines, newspapers, broadcast news, blogs. They inform and entertain the general public. Trade publications are a combination of scholarly and popular sources that professionals in a very specific industry use to inform and share information about that industry with one another and those interested in the industry. So what is the difference between these? First, the purpose. Why are they published? Scholarly articles or journals are usually published to disseminate original research and scholarly discussions among scholars in a discipline. Popular sources are to inform and entertain about current events and popular culture. Trade sources are usually published to advance a profession or an industry, to inform and share about the news, trends, technologies, best practices, and products for that specific industry or profession. Next, look at the audience. Who reads them? Scholarly journals and articles are usually wrote by scholars, researchers, or students within a specific discipline. The audience for popular sources is the general public. And when you look at trade sources, the audience are usually members of a profession or a trade. The author. Look at who writes them. Scholarly articles or journals are wrote by scholars, professors, researchers, and professionals. Popular sources are usually wrote by maybe a journalist. They sometimes have their credentials identified, or the author may not be named at all. And also, when you look at trade, the author is usually a professional in that field, maybe a journalist with subject expertise. Then we come to publisher, who publish or produces them. Scholarly articles are usually in a book or a journal publishers, a university press, or a professional association. Popular sources are usually published by a commercial group, and trade sources are usually an association or a commercial group that is publishing those for a specific industry. Look at the content. What do they look like? Are they readable by many? Scholarly sources are mostly text and may have black and white figures, graphs, tables, or charts. Few, if any, advertisements. They're highly specialized. They include very specialized vocabulary and jargon that is really understood by the researchers in that field, but not by the average reader. Popular sources, the content is some text, glossy colored photos, easy to read layouts, lots of advertisements. General language is used, and articles may be read and understood by most people. Trade sources, the content has some text, photographs, some graphics and charts. It has advertisements targeted to professionals in that field. It's very specialized. It's specialized jargon that is usually understood by the professionals in that field. Advantages of the different type of sources. Scholarly sources are articles, usually evaluated by experts before publication. So they have peer-reviewed or they're refereed. They have references, footnotes, or bibliographies that support the research and point to further research about the topic. Authors describe the methods they use, and they provide the data to support research results. Advantages for popular sources are they're written for everyone. They have timely coverage of current events and popular topics. Some have editors who fact-check and approve the content before publication, but not all. Trade sources' advantages are its timely coverage of what that industry is or what the trends are. Sometimes they contain short bibliographies. They're usually shorter articles that are there to inform and provide practical tips and tricks for that profession. What are the disadvantages? Scholarly articles often use specialized vocabulary that can be difficult for non-specialists to read. So you might want to keep your dictionary handy to look up different words. Research and review process takes time. Not as useful for current events and technologies. These journals are expensive and may not be readily available to the general public. A disadvantage for popular sources is that articles are selected by editors who may know little about the topic. Authors usually do not cite their sources. They are usually looking at quick deadlines, which means the content might not be reviewed or it may be limited. Stories may come from other sources, making it difficult to review the content. They are usually published to make a profit, so the line between informing and selling may be blurred. Disadvantages for trade sources is that it's not peer-reviewed, although the author is usually a professional in that field. They're used for have specialized terminology and may limit the readability by the general public. And the evidence they use is drawn from personal experience or common knowledge, not rigorous research. Articles may be biased to support an industry or a company. So when you're looking to review your sources, what is a trick you can use to help you make sure you have the source that you need for your research? You can ask yourself, is this a trap? The trap test helps you to evaluate the information you find. Different criteria will be more or less useful depending on your need. So the first area is timelines. Look at the timelines of the information. When was the information published or posted? Has the information been revised or updated? Have newer articles been published on your topic? Does the topic require current information, or will older sources also work? And are the links functional? Relevance. This is the importance of the information for your needs. Does the information relate to your topic or answer your question? Who is the intended audience? Is the information at an appropriate level? Not too elementary or not too advanced for your needs? Have you looked at a variety of sources before determining if this one is the one you will use? Would you be comfortable using this source for a research paper? The first A in the trap is authority. Look to the source of the information. Who is the author, the publisher, the source, or the sponsor? What are the author's credentials or organizational affiliations? What are the author's qualifications to write on this topic? Is there contact information, such as a publisher or an email address? And watch those URLs. Do they reveal anything about the source? The second A is accuracy. This is the reliability, truthfulness, and correctness of the information. So where does the information come from? Is the information supported by evidence? Has the information been reviewed or refereed? Can you verify any of the information in another source or from personal knowledge? Does the language or tone seem biased and free of emotion? Are there spelling, grammar, or other typographical errors? Then finally, look at the purpose, the reason why this information exists. What is the purpose of the information? Is it to inform, teach, sell, entertain, or persuade? Do the authors or sponsors make their intentions or purpose clear? Is the information fact, opinion, or propaganda? Does the point of view appear objective and impartial? Are there political, ideological, cultural, religious, institutional, or personal biases? So when we look at our scale, scholarly sources are considered the most reliable. They fall in the green area. So be thoughtful. These sources undergo a very stringent editorial and peer-reviewed or refereed process, but quality can vary from source to source.